want that. Special delivery. I need that. Special delivery.
What's happening, y'all? My name is Jack Harlow. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm in the Bay.
Yay! I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome.
What's happening?
Before we even get into breaking down Gazebo and getting into Loose, I got to tell you how I found your music, because I think it's a pretty cool story. I'm sure some people can relate. So, and it's one of those songs where it was so distinctive to me that I remember exactly where I was, what was happening, like the whole thing. So I'm listening to Spotify. I'm driving to LA, which is about 6 hours from here. Everybody thinks it's like a minute. It's 6 hours. It's a drive. So I'm listening to Spotify, some playlist. Ice Cream comes on. And I'm like, oh shit, like this slaps. And I was like, who is, I think I even tweeted like, how come you guys didn't tell me about fucking Jack Harlow? Like, what the fuck? So how did Ice Cream come to be? Walk us into it, because I was just like, what the fuck? Like, this is incredible.
That's funny. Ice Cream is definitely one of my older songs now, so we ain't been asked about that one for real, because I didn't start getting interviews until kind of after that a little bit, so you were early for real, so I appreciate you.
This was 2 summers ago, so this was 2016.
That's crazy.
Right after it dropped.
Well, then this is awesome.
I've been waiting for you to come here.
Yeah, nah, this is dope. Ice Cream came to be my man Ace over here. He was there when I recorded it, I'm pretty sure. And he was like, this is it. He thought it was fire. I was kind of iffy on it, but he was like, nah, this is it. Now listen. But he was right about it, because a lot of people ended up, finding me off of that. Like, that was a major milestone for me. Like, it was probably Ice Cream, then Dark Knight, now this. But Ice Cream was definitely that phase. That I would say would be me getting known nationally.
So we got to talk about Gazebo. Incredible project, so honest, so real. And you talked about how it was just simple to come up with the title. You liked hanging out in gazebos. But the thing that sometimes we find with projects is we spend so much time with it that Gazebo kind of takes on, and like the title takes on another meaning. Have you experienced that and kind of changed
Definitely.
The meaning?
First off, phenomenal question. Wow. Definitely. Like, that's the thing that helped me. Like, me and my friend Urban, we actually kind of talked about what the title should be together. We spent a lot of time around each other, so we just talk about this stuff. And we came to a point where we kind of realized, like, we can name this whatever if the music is good. You know what I mean? Like, in even something totally random you can't explain necessarily, like, people are gonna get a feeling from it. It's once they associate it with the music enough times, it's like they're just gonna, that's Gazebo to them. So definitely
It's so dope. And then of course it's night music. We go back to Maybe, and you say, anybody with me in the middle of the night is liable to become my psychiatrist.
And I want this shit to last me more than 5 or 10 minutes at a time. Take control of my environment, choosing how my time is spent. Gotta let you know that anybody with me in the middle of the night is liable to become my psychiatrist. Ain't it funny how that goes? Everything been good, I just wanted you to know.
And I think that super sums up the project, because you're taking us on all these night drives and all these night situations and kind of just bearing your soul. Was that something that happened intentionally, or just kind of happened, or the way the beat spoke to you? Because you even say in the intro, like, you could tell it's nighttime because of what the beat sounds like. What was the idea behind it becoming a nighttime project?
I think what's crazy is after I graduated high school, I started doing this little job for my mom where I would drive around at night and take pictures of signs that were dimly lit, because she had a little company that her and my dad own a company together called Signorama, and they fix signs. And so me going out and finding these signs helps them have a customer the next day, you know what I mean? And on these drives, I would listen to like Blonde by Frank Ocean. I would listen to Aquemini by Outkast.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
And I think just doing that enough times, it became the type of music I wanted to make, because that's what I was enjoying at the time. So I'm like, yo, I want to make music that feels like this. So that's kind of where it came from.
I love that.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Aquemini and your mom, because even on
Legend.
On Routine, you talk about how your mom introduced you to Outkast. I've heard in interviews how she introduced you to Tribe. Your mother has a great taste in music, so shout out to her.
Thank you.
Incredible. On Used to Be, 2 for 1 has that saxophone breakdown. Yeah. And when you hear it, I almost think that I'm biased, because anytime I hear like some real musical breakdown, I think of Spodioti, because that's just what we do. How did that saxophone breakdown come in?
Well, it's just crazy you play sax. Like, that's what it is. Like, why you play sax? when I met him, that's one of the first things I found out. And I'm like, he played for U of L. He used to be in the band. So he just plays sax, and he made the beat. And he's a creative guy. Like, he thinks of stuff a lot. Like, I'll be in the middle of my songs, and he's like, I hear something, I want to add to this. And he goes in and he just lays a stroke of genius. Like, he's super talented. So the sax thing, I think, felt natural to him. Like, he knows he can play sax. He's like, I will sauce this up one time. And that he did. Like, he really killed it. And it was different, too, because we had somebody else come in and do sax, and they played, like, a really dope technical kind of, like, it was fire for what it was, but Juan's was kind of like scattered, had a weird feel to it, and it just felt more natural. And so it stayed on. It was fire.
I love it. And then, speaking of 2 for 1, the 2 for 1 outro, he produced almost everything on Gazebo except for one track. What was it like just letting him have that outro?
Easy. Because it was so good. Like, I think 2-3 weeks before we were kind of wrapping up, he made that song. Like, he just made it. And I was like, you got to finish this. Everyone in the group was kind of like, this is crazy. But I felt like it was so good that I wanted it to be on my project. I was like, yo, this is fire. Can we just put it on mine? And, of course, he was with it because, you know, the project was going to be a good look, and it would be a good look for him, like, just to, like, have his own record on there. It was tight.
Exactly.
But I just wanted the song. Like, I just wanted it I didn't want to do anything to it. I just wanted him to put it at the end, and I felt like it was a great, like, ending. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Bringing it all the way back to the intro, what was it like making that one? Because you just start out super raw, talking about not fitting in and not really vibing with anything.
I'm on Eastern Parkway, flying on the carpet through the yellow lights. I'm gliding on the way to her apartment, and I'm riding, taking in the smell of the street. It's nighttime, by the way, but you can tell by the beat. That bass knocking in my whip just like some elephant feet. Catch a wave when I'm driving past my elementary. Grew up around the kids.
You talk about how, like, that's one of your favorite tracks. What was it like making the intro? Eastern Parkway.
Right. I was with Juan. We were in Atlanta, and it was just me and him in the studio one night. And I had been listening to I was definitely listening to Outkast. I can't remember what song, and I'd been talking to some people I just met named Steve and Frank in Atlanta, and they were telling me about, like, what made Outkast so amazing was they described a place that people hadn't heard of in a hip-hop sense yet. And he's like, that's what y'all need to do with Louisville. Like, that's something that could really be tight. You describe places that people haven't been, so when they go to that city and they're on that street, they're like, wow, this means something to me. So him telling me that, he told me that day, I was listening to their music, and I got to the studio, and I was just like, I want to do that. Like, that was kind of my goal of it in a way. So it definitely started out as, like, that was the main idea, but as I started writing, like, I mean, everything I just felt like you know, sometimes it just comes out right. Sometimes it doesn't. It's like hard to make those. Like Eastern Parkway, it's not like I'm gonna make one of those today. Like sometimes it just happens. You get lucky. Like I feel like I love that song.
Yes, so dope. And then your other favorite you said was Detox. That one is such an interesting writing structure. It's basically just the verse repeating itself. What was it like making that one? And then the second part to it, who are you kind of talking to when you're talking about, like, oh, you're getting apathetic?
Man, you asked the most fire questions. You are so dope. You are so dope.
I'm a fan.
No, but that's, you don't, like, for artists, that's what they want. Like, that's why artists don't like doing interviews, because, you know, people aren't like this. Like, you're fire at this. Anywho, damn, what did you ask me though? No, you asked me Detox. Okay.
Yes.
Nah, so I made Detox with Juan and my friend Nemo. He came from Lexington to Louisville, and we were in the basement working, and I was kind of telling him, we did one song, and I was kind of like, yo, I can't decide what to write about. Like, I don't know what I want to say right now. And he was like, what do you want to tell people your age? Like, what are you what's the message you want to get across? Just keep it as fundamental as that. And so I just started writing Detox, and went in the booth, laid it down. And you're right, it's a short little section that keeps getting repeated, but there's enough melody change, you know what I mean, that it's like, it's refreshing every time it comes around. So we just looped it. That was what we did because I didn't have any more. But then we realized this loop is gonna work. Nemo went in the booth because he had his own ideas, and Nemo's the one laying the little fire.
Yes.
It was just a moment. I don't know, it was crazy. That's definitely one of my favorite music making moments.
Definitely. Let's talk about On a Way. You have these two verses, and there's a little bit of almost juxtaposition. The first verse, you're kind of talking about a girl, how she's on the way. And then the second one, you're kind of talking about you're on the way to make it and you're kind of bringing everybody with you as far as the garden and all that stuff. What was it like making that one?
I remember I did the hook in Atlanta. Had the hook for a couple weeks before I went back, but I wrote the verses and added those in. And the first verse of that song is like one of my favorite verses I've ever wrote, for real. But there is definitely a difference. There's like there's an intensity change for sure. It's like it was just good to address on the second verse, something like that. Mm-hmm. It felt like, but the first verse is one of my favorites.
And then Dark Knight. Talk about, had a little song I was gonna put first, but boy goddamn, this is an intro now. Are you talking about structurally with the project? Are you talking about an introduction to you? What do you mean by this?
Nah,
is an intro
I just
now?
lied through my teeth. I just really blew it. That's what happened.
So you wanted that to be the intro of Gazebo?
When I was writing it, okay. I was so turned that I was like, I don't give a damn. Like, this is the intro. I know for sure. I know this is the intro. So, definitely.
But the cool thing about it is, like you were saying, Dark Knight was a lot of people's introduction to you. So
for sure.
It worked out to be...
Yeah, but it would have been a tighter line if I was right. You're right about that. That makes me feel a little better. But if it had been the intro, people would have been like, damn, he had another one for us, but he used this. But nah, I made it Eastern Parkway a few weeks later, and I was like, man, so this got to go. Plus, we released it as a single. I didn't, it just didn't end up being an intro. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm not trying to.
No, I know you're not. Just want to explain my line.
Speaking of lines, we got to talk about Routine, because Routine, you say some wild shit.
Wild.
It's wild. This might be one of the wildest ones I've heard in a while. Might lay in bed with some girl and talk about her after I bust on her. Like, what you think I should do?
She beautiful, like real talk though. She come right after that 8-9, so I'm stuck on her. I'm so gone off. I might lay in bed with some other girl and talk about her after I bust on her. Like, what you think?
It's facts though. Like, when I say wild shit, I think sometimes I write things in my music that are so specific to me that a lot of people maybe just like don't know what that feels like. I don't know. So I think a lot of times it's wild to a lot of people because it's super concise. Like, it's something really random. But to me, it feels profound when I write it. So I'm like, okay. But no, that's true. I've definitely had situations where like I wanted a girl a lot, but the girl I was messing with at the time necessarily wasn't her. But it was like our situation. She was kind of understanding of that, so we would have conversations about other things.
Shout out to those girls.
Yeah, man.
They need to be shouted out. Cause
true, I'm trying to think if I was doing that back. If I was talking about the guy that they really wanted back.
Probably
no
not.
telling.
Because that girl was probably in
Maybe
love with
I
you.
probably assumed it was me. Really, they had some dude they really loved.
It's probably you. We're not going to go into like gender dynamics, but that's usually how it works. A girl will sit there and listen to you talk about another girl, and she's just like, fuck, why doesn't he choose me?
Damn, we're uncovering some real stuff in here.
Like I said, shout out to those girls. Man. Then let's talk about Wasted Youth. In the intro of that one, you talk about, I'm not going to fuck this up. Were you talking about actually recording it, okay.
Yeah.
How many times did you have to record that one?
I think it was 2 or 3.
That's not bad.
It really wasn't, but I knew the verse. Like, I don't know. When I write, I really rap it a lot as I'm writing. Mm-hmm. So by the time I get in the booth, my mouth hasn't memorized low key. So I don't know. I was just like, that's definitely what I said though. Mm-hmm. I was almost gonna take it out, but it was just like, it was an honest moment. Like, nah, this time I got it, and then I got it. So
exactly,
it's like a flex. Actually, I just discovered what it is. It's just a flex. Yeah.
And then Tightrope gets really fucking real. Might be the realest one.
This interview is getting real.
I'm sorry.
I'm loving it. No, I'm loving it.
Might be one of the realest ones on Gazebo. What was it like making that one?
Me and my man Taylor in the studio. It was deep in the studio, actually. Mm-hmm. Whole guard was in there low key. Taylor went in, just floated, and then he put the hook. Then I just wrote my verse, laid it down. It was like nobody talked to each other the whole session. I don't know. Not even on some like, not because we didn't want to.
Yeah, no, that's just the vibe. It was that serious.
I don't know how to describe it. The beat was just blaring. That's what it was. The beat was just blaring, and everybody's just sitting there, and somebody does their section, somebody comes out. It's crazy.
Before we talk about Loose, anything else you want to tell the people about Gazebo?
Love it.
So, Loose, just to give people kinds of an idea of what they're in store for, because I'm fucking excited. Do you want to tell us the story behind the cover art?
Sure. We had other cover arts.
Mm-hmm.
This was a very frustrating process for me because Gazebo, before we even named it, we had the cover art. Like that picture had been taken. I loved it, and it was like, yo, we should use this, and it fit the music. It just everything aligned there. Yeah. This one has definitely we've been flip-flopping on the covers. Me specifically, and this is 2 weeks ago decision to this one.
Wow.
And it just feels right. I don't know. It looks iconic. I want this project to be iconic. I want, people to digest the face with the music. You know what I mean? I want people to just get the whole package right there.
I'm so excited. We gotta talk about Sundown.
Let's hear it.
My God, just the beat, just fucking everything. Like, it's fucking incredible.
For the kid, I had a chin check him, big move, and we teach him big lessons over here. 2-4 coming heavy like we bench pressing, and I'm gonna deliver every time just like a sent message. In the South, then I'm feeling like a pimp. You a simp, I don't feel bad for you, I ain't sympathetic.
And if you know me, you know that I already fuck with it just off tops. We were talking off air about how Pharrell had to agree to it. Tell us that story, because that's, man.
There's some conversations I'm learning that I'm like not truly privy to. It's crazy. Like, Cannon just told me that he had to check with Pharrell. And then a few weeks later I said, did Pharrell say anything? He was like, oh yeah, he's cool with it. So I'm like, damn, I wish he had called me. Like, nah, I'm just playing. But I definitely found out through Cannon. Mm-hmm. So right now what I'm telling you is totally based on what he said, but I believe him. So Pharrell apparently said, go ahead with it.
Nice. What was the mindset when making that one and kind of gearing up for Loose?
It's one of the older songs on the tape for sure. It's right after I moved to Atlanta. We definitely been listening to some clips.
Yes.
And then Juan caught the vibe, put it together. I wrote it, went in the booth, and the thing was there was 2 verses, and I took what I liked out of both verses and made it the one verse and got rid of the stuff I didn't really like. So chorus, verse, and that's why it's so short. And people say they hate short songs, but I really don't think they do. I think people couldn't last 3 minutes these days. I'm just joking, but I'm not. But at the same time, people can't last these days.
I think there's different types of listeners, and I think there's definitely listeners that will stay for the whole song, but then there's a majority of people who are like, right, bang, bang.
And it feels so wrong to force length. It's like, I would love for the song to be 3 minutes. That's the perfect song length. 3:30. But it's oftentimes 2 to 2:30, and that's just what it is. And I think it definitely probably has to do with, the attention span decreasing. So I think it's harder for artists such as myself that are being affected by these times to make a song long. It's just hard. Like, after 2 verses, you're like a third verse seems laughable these days. I can't imagine doing a third verse. It's got to be a writing song. It's got to be a song where you're pouring it out. Like, you have it so much to say. And when I have that much to say, I'm definitely not going to stop the song from going on.
Yeah.
If I write a 5-minute song, it's going to be 5 minutes. But if I write a 2-minute song, I'm not going to put a verse I don't like that much just to make it a standard length.
Exactly. No, it feels right at the end of the day. So it makes sense.
A lot of people wanted that second verse, though. So I feel you.
Loose, out August 17th. Anything else you want to tell the people about it?
It's a good time. It's not Gazebo, but it's fun. It's amazing. It's crazy. I love it. I'm so excited for it. I think it might be the one. So tune in at Jack Harlow. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Special Delivery Podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button on whatever you're listening on, especially because I got episodes coming up with Abjo, Reggie Snow, and so many more. And also reach out to me. Let me know what your favorite part of this episode was. I'm on Twitter at SpecialSays, and on Instagram it's at SpecialSays as well. And as always, this episode is dedicated to Marlon. Do what you can to stop senseless acts of gun violence.